Hey everybody, good afternoon. It's Ben Capozzi with Broad Shoulders Farm in beautiful Halifax County, Virginia, Zone 7. Today is Thursday, October 28th, and I have been having a fantastic week. I hope you have been too. Friend of the farm, Rachel, came and helped me out on Monday. I actually had an appointment earlier that day, and I wound up canceling it because I was like, just got to get this stuff done. But it was kind of a gamble because I was like, man, I really hope that it's worth it to cancel this when we actually do get a lot done. And we did. I'm just been over the moon all week. It's been a real joy coming out here and continuing to work. So I'm going to flip the camera around and I'll give you guys an update on the greenhouses, plural, which I'm super excited about. So stay tuned. Okay, with the help of friend of the farm, Rachel, we got the second cattle panel greenhouse wrapped. This is the winter composting run and spring and summer greenhouse for the chickens in the retirement flock. In fact, you will notice we are in the retirement pen. That's all this up here. One of the things that Rachel and I were able to do and hadn't planned on, and I was like, you know what, we're here, screw it, let's just get it done. We moved the retirement flock where they've been over there for like more than a month. We hauled them up here in their chickshaws, brought them through the big gate, and rolled them right into here. Even though I haven't finished their house, which is on the other side of this, and you'll see in a minute, their kind of permanent retirement home, I just wanted to get them in here. So it's been great. They are in here. They're even slowly starting to migrate over to their new house. I'll show you. And this is nothing new. I've been working on this for a while, sporadically. It needs like 2 or 3 hours of solid effort and it would be ready to rock and roll. I added like one more roost in there last night. And it needs a few more. I'm gonna build the nesting boxes here on the side as a cutout. Because even though they'll be 4 years old in March, the overwhelming majority of these hens, they will still lay because they are heritage breeds. They are true breeds. They're not hybrids, which are fine, but they're not like sex-linked or anything like that. They're not production birds. They're designed to durably lay over many, many years. Now, production is cutting way, way back, but I'll still get eggs from them. And certainly want to thank them for their service. So this will be their retirement home. The mulberry tree in here is still putting out mulberries, just a few, but this is its first year fruiting. And here we are on the eve of November and it's still pumping them out. So that's very cool. They're working the kitchen scraps. We get the kitchen scraps from Southern Plenty Cafe in downtown South Boston. And today there was like a quarter of a ham, which, oh my gosh, they've destroyed that. It was like, I'm gonna say 5 times bigger than that. But I collect their kitchen scraps every day and add it over here. This is gonna be a big part of what the retiring hens will be doing, which is making compost. So I lay out a nice bed of straw, I throw it on there. There's a lot of citrus in there. There's some asparagus, hard stems they don't like. Celery they're not crazy about. Some people would freak out about that. I'm not one of those people. What they don't eat, they won't eat, and they will just scratch this all around. It'll draw worms, it'll draw bugs, it'll break down, and they will just keep kicking it apart. So I'm super excited about that. And as you can see, their houses look a little rough. So I can't wait to migrate these girls and a few lads over here to their new home, which they're going in more and more frequently. I'm finding more of them over here. So I think they know. But once they're all out of the habit of sleeping in here, and I've got that house finished and I can just lock them up at night, I'll take these out. They need a massive cleanup and reworking and repairs and stuff like that, so they'll be ready for the next laying flock, which are growing up right now. But we wrapped this greenhouse. This one is, I think, about 118 square feet. It is 7 by just shy of 17. And this is nothing new. The cattle panel greenhouses, I first learned about them from Sean and Sasha Dombrowski with Edible Acres, which is a YouTube channel I talk about a lot. I owe them so much. I love their channel. I learned so much from them. And I have to say that finishing this on Monday after, I don't know, learning about this 5 or 6 years ago and then finally making one, was deeply, deeply satisfying. But the purpose of this is so that on really cold days in the winter, there will be an active or semi-active pile of compost in here that the hens can come out of. If the ground is frozen, they can come out over here, run over here and sunbathe themselves and catch a lot of warm rays in a definitely warmer spot. But their big job in here is to make compost. I'll be bringing in lots and lots of carbon and some greens for nitrogen to get this pile going, but they'll be coming in here and scratching it up and breaking it down, and I'll pile it back up every day and they'll break it back down again, so that by the end of winter and moving into spring, I will have several cubic yards of compost in here that the birds have made, that they will have pooped into and made it nice and rich and full of organic material. They've broken down all this carbon and it'll be wonderful. So the purpose of this is for them, and then once winter is over, I will use some of this compost, honestly, to make 2 beds in here, probably 3 foot. I'll maybe come out into the walkway a bit. I made these doors quite large so I can get a wheelbarrow in here. They're 36 inches, but I will build door frames. I will build doors and so that I can close this. Especially what I want to do in the spring and summer is close this off so that I can grow crops for me or for the birds in here, but it'll be important for them not to have access to it. So that is the purpose of this cattle panel structure. So it's a greenhouse part of the year, and it's the winter composting run the other part of the year. Right now I'm storing some tools in it while I work. This was the second structure that we wrapped that day. The first structure we wrapped is the big greenhouse. You guys, I'm so excited. Let's go around and take a look. Hi ladies, hello, hello, hello. Hi Pearl, sweet Pearl. Pearl's been with me forever. I love her. She's a Barred Holland. I only have 2 of those, and I wouldn't know where I would get more of them. Pearl and Colonel, a pair. I actually need to get them together. Okay, so Rachel and I wrapped this house on Monday, and actually it was crazy because, of course, the day that we wrapped them, we have like record winds come through our area, like 115 miles per hour. It was crazy. There were some tornadoes nearby. The tornado siren went off in town like 3 times. You know, we don't live on the farm. We live about 20 minutes away in downtown. So I was worried, but I came back and everything was a-okay. All the battens that we'd made were fine. And you know, in years past, I would have, certainly when I first started, I would have just stapled this on and it definitely would have torn off. But just using thin strips here of board that I cut out of plywood, you can, you know, batten down the hatches, these wooden battens, and hold this down. And it's much better and much less likely to tear. It just grabs a whole lot more of the surface area of the plastic and holds it down. So it's great. One thing that I wanted to make sure I was able to do is in the summer, I want to be able to vent this. There'll be a big window here. There'll be a big window in the door on the other end, but I wanted to be able to lift these sides up. And so we did a batten at this level and then a batten down here at the base level. So in the summer, I can unscrew these and roll this up and have airflow on both sides as well. So I'm super excited about that. Let's take a look inside. Obviously I still need to close the ends. That's a project for today. But yeah, I got it all framed in, and it was really perfect. I just had a random offcut roll that I ordered from A.M. Leonard 2 years ago, and we took it out of its plastic wrap, never been opened before, and we had enough to wrap this and the other one with very little left over. So, you know, it's kind of like it was meant to be. Sometimes things just work out. So here I am inside. Boy, is it warm in here already. I think it's about 60 degrees today. And looking ahead at the forecast, it's crazy, y'all. Like, I think we're going, as far as I could see, the Weather Channel predict this out for our area to November 10th. There is still no frost. We are barely getting into the 30s at night, and that's like 2 weeks away. So I'm not sure when our first frost is going to be this year. It is usually around mid-October, so we're blowing past that. So here we are inside the greenhouse. Tons of space. This one, if you remember, is 5 cattle panels lifted 2 feet off the ground. Pine rail 2x4, true 2x4, oak rail along the bottom, the foundation, the footing, whatever that's all called, secured with zip ties to straighten them up, and then the cattle panels are nailed down with these fencing staples. So I think it's a pretty stable structure. I may do some things outside to maybe drive some stakes in as well and attach them to the structure, just out of paranoia, because I have had large structures up here, surprisingly large structures, blow over. That's why we have the new duck house. So I don't want to take any chances with this. So I went ahead and brought in the what are these, 250, 300 gallon? I'm sorry, I can't remember now. The IBC totes, because now that they're in, they can't go out after I framed everything in. So I wanted to get them in here. Their place is going to be on top of a couple pallets, one in each back corner. The beds going to be one on each side, and then one long one in the middle. I have a neat idea for some racks to get my seed starting going on. That'll be an update for the future. But the big question that we had in the last video was, that I asked you guys for your opinion on, is should I try and get these beds ready and plant some things in here, or should I just get the chickens in? And the opinions from the few comments that I got on YouTube, but also from among friends and family, is let's just get the chickens in here. So one of my jobs today, fingers crossed, is after I finish up framing up the ends and get a door in place, I am going to bring in the oldest of the new laying flock members. They're about 3 to 4 months. No, they're about 5 to 6 months old. Yeah, 6 months old. They're going to come in here. There's probably altogether about 25 of them, I think. I'm going to get them in here and get them started. I may even release some of the bottom battens in order to roll up the sides and get some ventilation going in here. But they are going to be in here for at least a month. And what I need them to do, I'll bring in bales of hay and bags of leaves and other carbon, but I need them to just tear this place up. I need them to break up all this ground. I need them to destroy all this wiregrass. And they'll do a great job of it, and they'll have way more space than they've got right now. So they'll be in here hopefully by the end of the day today. If not, hopefully I can do it tomorrow. Though Friday is baking day, so that's always a little dicey. And what I'd really like to do, I want to rethink the fence line around the market garden to keep the chickens out. It does a decent job, but it's not flawless. As you can see, there's a couple random roosters, and Ginger, the red-cap hen, hops in here all the time. And occasionally some guineas are in here as well. And I've only got part of the garden planted out here for the winter anyhow. But I'd like to redo this fence in such a way that I might be able to open this door up and get the future laying flock that's in here able to run out here and start picking on these things, because these are kale and Swiss chard that have been in here since early summer. So the kale is too bitter for me to sell. The Swiss chard leaves are not terribly tasty. They're kind of bitter as well, but I have to say, the stalks, the stems are super sweet. I'm not sure what that's about, but like the stems right now are delicious, and the leaves are nicht so gut. So anyhow, but I do want to reconsider this fence. Maybe plant a permanent bed of asparagus in here, because all that is asparagus, or at least it's going to be. We planted some. I don't know how much the birds have torn up, but I have plenty more asparagus starts. Maybe bring those in here. Ultimately, I want to build a porch, a small porch, maybe, you know, kind of like that one that I built over that shed, but I want some kind of porch up here over the north end so that I can get water runoff and pipe that into a gutter and set up some pipes and such so that I can add rainwater to the 2 totes that'll be on the inside. And I actually want to position a couple totes out here on the outside as well, at least 1 tote, so that I have a nice source of backup water in the event that anything happens with the well pump. You know, knock on wood. I don't want to curse myself, but that's just the thing that I'm thinking about. Out here is going to go reimagined or revisioned conditioning station. That's for washing, drying, and getting the veggies into storage as they come out of the market garden. That's coming along. I talked about this earlier, but I'm cannibalizing all my cattle panels from here. This used to be the roots and refuge style cattle panel trellises for tomatoes. I did that for one season. It was great, but it's not exactly what I want. And I need the cattle panels because these cattle panel structures are my new favorite thing. Every time I start thinking about a new building now, I start thinking about, can I do it with cattle panels? Because the cost per square foot is like $1. It's so much cheaper, and they are very versatile. So these are some of the earlier ones. I'm really starting to think more and more about them. And again, I first heard about these from Sean and Sasha on their Edible Acres channel, and they credited a YouTube video by a guy, Texas Prepper 2. It's got like over 1 million views. You can find it. These structures are very easy to build. You can absolutely do one in a day. Absolutely. On your own, you can do one in a day. With help, you can do it in maybe 3 or 4 hours. And as I talk about new ones or building more of them, I started yesterday, even though I'm not done with the others, I started yesterday another one. This one is 9 by just shy of 17. It's going to be another 4-panel one. It's going to be like that one, only that one was 7 wide. This one is 9 wide. I'm playing with the width because it works. We don't have the super cold weather that some folks have in lower grow zones. We rarely have any kind of a snow load. Not that, I don't need to prepare for a freak event. I am, but I think I can keep pushing these. But this one is going to be a garden. Let me turn around. A winter greenhouse for me and my wife that I can plant into here hopefully pretty darn soon once I get it wrapped. As well as in the far end, the east end, I want to put a new little ICU space that's much more weatherproof than the current ICU space as we move into winter. So that's what I'm going to do. A raised bed up here, a lower bed down here, water coming in from the different channels to create like wicking beds. So I'm pretty excited about this one. Even though I'm doing a greater width at 9 feet, and that means that the ceiling is a little lower, there's plenty of room for me in here. If you were 6 feet, this might be a little cramped. I'm not 6 feet, but it is a little low for me. So one thing I'm thinking about is actually, in the same way that I put that greenhouse up on rails of 2 feet, I think about putting maybe 1 foot or 2 foot rail just on the back here, just to give me a little extra lift and still have this down so that it has a very big solar aspect. And I'm really thinking about doing that. I don't know if I want to do 2 rails or not. 2 rails sounds like, I don't know if I want to do that much work, but anyhow, we'll see. But that's where I'm moving with this. So cattle panel greenhouses, highly recommend. I'm super excited about them. If you have questions, comments, concerns, helpful critique, all of that is welcome. Please let me know. I hope that you are well. I hope that maybe you find this exciting or inspiring. I've actually been pleased to find some folks in my local county who have reached out to me and said that they want to come and see these. They're really excited about this. So that's cool. Spread the knowledge. Credit the folks who helped you out. The more people doing stuff like this, I think maybe the better as we try and work some of this stuff out. So anyhow, I'm pretty excited, and as I look at inflation and the cost of goods, especially fresh produce and stuff increasing, it really kind of broke my heart to make not 1 but 2 greenhouses that are not really ready to be planted into this fall. And that's kind of part of the motivation for this. This was going to be a completely different structure originally in my mind. It's going to be much more like that. But after seeing these 2 houses wrapped, I was like, you know what? I think I can do it out of cattle panels, and it's going to be great, and it'll be multi-purpose. So that's where we're going. Wherever you are, whatever you're up to, I hope that you and those you love are doing well and fine, and please continue to do so. You can follow me and the birds and our adventures on the farm at Broad Shoulders Farm on Facebook and Instagram. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.